afternoon, everyone. This is Craig Studnicky from RelatedISG International Realty. Welcome to the next edition of the Insiders series. Today we are with Bethany Martinez.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? Always good to see you.
Always.
You know, when I grew up as a little kid, my mom used to love Bette Midler music, and when I met her, the more you talk to her, you're going to see a little bit of that inside of Bethany. And come on, you know
it's so funny that you say that. No one said that since high school.
Well, so there.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one who said it.
Yeah, I do get
Bethany works in the Edgewater office, and we're filming this today in Aventura because Liz Lopez is still remodeling the Edgewater office, and it's noisy as can be. So here we are. But Bethany, welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here today.
It's a pleasure. I'm excited.
Okay. I know, I am too, because I have gotten to know you, and I want everybody else in RelatedISG to get to know you. And that's part of what this is about. This is also about your colleagues that are not necessarily inside RelatedISG, your competitors that you work with every day, every different company in South Florida. And I want them to get to know a little bit about you too, because I think it's going to make your phone ring a little bit more, especially when they find out what a great young
I hope
lady
it's
you are.
ringing because there's deals coming.
Well, there are, especially after this, you'll see, especially after this. So listen, I know you were born in New York City.
I was.
The city's so nice, they aimed it twice, you know that story. But you were raised here.
I was raised here. I've been here since I was a little girl, and I lived all over Hollywood, Broward County, and then moved to Miami, and then I've been in Miami ever since.
You really love South Florida.
I love South Florida.
Yeah.
I know every part of it.
When you and I had lunch with Carolina, now a couple of months ago, I guess, like, wow, this girl really does know it, and you absolutely love it.
And I work both South Florida, Broward County and Miami-Dade because I know it so well, and I have a team now, so we're able to stretch over some broad territory.
But before you had a team now, and before you were with RelatedISG, I want to go all the way back to, there was a moment in your young life when you said, I think I want to try real estate.
Wow.
What were the events that led up to that?
So I actually never wanted to try real estate. It was an ex that his mom was in real estate at the time, and I was in hospitality management.
An ex-boyfriend?
Yes,
Okay.
And she kept motivating me and telling me that I should get into real estate and you can do this, personality. I was actually in hospitality management.
That Miller's coming out.
So I was opening restaurants and training and steps of service, and I worked for the Miami Heat and a bunch of, entertainment industry, restaurant, hospitality places. And I really loved that, and it was one event that I did for a group of real estate women, and I just kind of saw them hanging out, and it intrigued me. I got my license. I worked at a brokerage in Doral.
Okay.
Then I left there because, when I broke up with my ex, I was like, I need to do my own thing.
It happens all the time.
Then I moved my license with Cervera. So I want to say that's where it really started as a solo agent, getting to learn, what to do, market, things like that. They were predominantly pre-construction at that time. They had a lot of pre-construction projects. So I tried to get on a project. That didn't work out. So I just stuck with general real estate. I stayed there for a while, and then I felt like there was only so much I was going to grow. And I kept saying to myself, I'm like, there has to be something different. Let me try. So then I went to a boutique brokerage, Julie's Realty.
Because Cervera's big, and you want something smaller.
At that time, Cervera was pretty big.
They were.
I think they're bigger now.
They still are.
And they still are, yeah. But I wanted to, let's say, just switch it up at the time, see what was out there. So I went to a boutique brokerage, Julie's Realty. She was a friend of mine.
Okay.
And that's where I had my most success. And I think it was because I was able to have more attention. I was able to call a manager and they would answer, and it was usually Julie who was answering the phone, giving me guidance, and I was closing some of the biggest deals of my life in those 2 years. And sometimes when you work for a bigger brokerage, it's really hard to get phone calls answered, get questions answered, and have that flexibility of being able to, of someone helping you.
Right.
I
understand.
So,
and when you're in the middle of a deal, as we all know, you need answers right then and there.
And when you're new in real estate, like, who do you go to? Back then, collaboration and teams, it wasn't trending back then. No one really wanted to help you. Everybody was out for themselves. So I really felt like I had no one to go to. So moving to this brokerage was like the next step for me to get hands-on, like, attention and guidance.
And you were doing well.
And
you were
I
making
killed it.
money.
And what's so funny, and I always say this, like, there was this presidential circle that I always wanted to be a part of, and I swore that I would never leave severa until I got into the top producer, right?
Okay.
And sometimes, what's that saying? When you're like a small fish in a big pond, it's a lot harder, right?
Yes.
So then I moved to this boutique brokerage, and in month 1, I was already top producer, closing the biggest sales of my life. I brought home like my first, $150,000 commission check, and it was like, and then obviously my split changed. So it went from me making like barely any money to pay rent to making so much money. That was like my
you're thinking about buying
moment.
Investment properties now.
Yeah,
right?
or I don't even know what. That was my aha moment when I was like, oh my God, I can do this. I can actually do real estate forever.
You realized you were meant for real estate.
Yeah, and so that's when I moved. So that whole process, I needed a switch. Now I was there for 2 years, and I was just, not interested in going anywhere else. And then Related started knocking on my door, only because I was always coming into this corporate office building, and I was always in and out of the elevator, and I would always see, our past president, Alex Vidal, and he was always like, hey,
Mr. Persistent,
why don't you come and interview? Or hey, let's grab coffee. And I mean, I was always like dodging him in the lobby when I would see him.
I used to too, for different reasons.
But one day I was just like, let me just have coffee with this person. I sat, had coffee with him, and I remember him questioning me about things that no one's ever questioned me before. Just like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And what are your numbers? And what are you selling? And where do you want to go? And where do you want to be? And I remember like not having answers. And then he's like, well, it doesn't seem like you have any answers, so why don't you just give it a shot? And then the thing that caught me about Related, it was about building relationships. And their tagline was the power of relationships.
Yes.
And that's how I've made all my success in real estate, through my hospitality relationships that I brought into real estate. So the tagline just like struck a chord with me. And I said, the power of relationships, like it's a beautiful company. It's like a blank canvas where I can brand myself. They believe in relationships, and that's how I've made all my success in my career. And the stars just kind of align. And plus, everything that they added between the free marketing and the support, it had that boutique brokerage feel, but they had a more powerful name behind them, where I felt like if I went out in the street, people still would know who my broker was and things like that. So it was just one of those moments I was like, you know what, I need a change. Let's do this.
And how long ago was that?
That was about 3 years.
Okay. Now it's 3 years later.
3 years later,
and you're staying here.
And I'm still here.
And I know that every now and then you get a knock on your door, you get a phone call from one of our competitors, because a lot of people know who you are.
Sure.
And you've got this magnificent, charismatic, natural energy.
Thank you.
And I'm sure people would like you to consider perhaps another company. And yet, you have decided to stay with RelatedISG.
Yes.
Why?
I stay because it's simple in a sense of what I need, I get, but they don't lose touch of that personal relationship feel within the office. When I need something from someone and I call our president, our VP, the manager of the office, they're always there. They're always available. They always answer the phone. It's kind of that I'm the type of person that I want to be able to touch and feel those leaders around me, because when I'm in with a company, I'm all in. And I've been able to do that and get what I need. And sometimes I don't need a lot, but when I do need something,
when you need it, you need it.
I need it, and it's there, and they have everything that I need between, like I said, the marketing and just, always being available. And they keep getting better. They keep bettering themselves. They're seeing what's out there in the competition. And I'm just like, I'm a believer, like when I'm happy and I'm comfortable, I want to not only be invested in the company, I want to help them grow. I want to be a part of it. Like, it's just something that makes sense for me. And a lot of times you have to have that feeling, right?
Well, but understand, there is a wonderful quid pro quo. I will speak for Caroline, I'll speak for Liz in particular, and maybe to some extent myself. We really do listen to our top producers, like you. And you teach us exactly where we need to go. And we're committed. We told you so many times, we work for you. Our job is to make your life easier. Because if you do, you're gonna make more money, you'll hit all your financial goals, and you'll help us grow a business at the same time. Finding, however, the chemistry between, like what I hope you and I have, that's unusual and unique, and it's nice to see that we have it with we're fortunate that we have it with so many. But Bethany, let's talk about what we call our golden nugget.
Okay,
let me explain what this is. This is the thing that, there isn't a human being that ever lived or who will ever live that has an easy life. There's always setbacks. Somehow, some way, it just happens to all of us. in the year 2020, it has happened without question to everybody who walks the planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is something inside of you that gets you through a bad day, a challenging week, a ridiculous month, call it headwinds, that you always go to, that gets you through this, that's gotten you through your young years.
Yeah.
It's going to propel you through the rest of your wonderful life. If you don't mind, share with everybody what that is.
Well, in regards to being in real estate and being able to wake up and every day's a new day, I choose to never compare the people that I work with to the past people, never compare one transaction to the other. Everything is always a new experience, a new transaction, and something new that I'm learning. And I love the fact that that is the industry of real estate. So I don't compare myself to any other agent out there. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. All I do is compare myself to myself from the day before, and I compare my transaction to the last one in the sense of how can I make it better. But you know, a lot of the times when you're out there in real estate, you can feel like the energy of the person you're working with and their past experiences. Like, oh, the last time an agent did this to me, or the last offer we received. And I always try to keep people focused on, it's not about the past, it's about right now. Right now, we have a new buyer, a new deal, a new seller. Let's worry about how we take this one and move it forward. So I've just learned that sometimes just like removing that comparison factor or like those negative experiences that you could have and just focusing on like, how do we move forward? And always expecting positive things to happen. And magic can happen in minutes in real estate. We're so blessed to work in this industry where we can close a deal that can change your life. And if that doesn't motivate you every day to go out there and do something with it,
then you just don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
right?
like you don't know what you're missing. You're
Yeah.
definitely not, you know, it might not be for you, but just having like, it's an endless opportunity. And then backing that up with like a great company and support. I mean, you really like, you are able to be whatever you want, I feel like, once you're in real estate and you've been an entrepreneur. And the real estate umbrella has opened so many doors for me as a businesswoman, and the connections and the groups that I've created. And I just don't feel like a realtor. I feel like I learned how to become a business owner, and that is probably the most powerful thing. So don't compare, and just know that everyday magic can happen.
Let me help you with something. One of the things that I share with you before we started this discussion today is I'm so impressed with all of the agents in RelatedISG, because you know, when you're in general real estate, you have to create your own business. Nobody hands you anything. You've got to literally create it. And the top producers have figured out that they have to constantly work on improving themselves, financially, physically, spiritually, business-wise, marketing-wise. You're constantly retooling yourself, but constantly. And what it all equals is this realization that it's all an inside job.
Mm-hmm.
So not comparing, you just said, I don't compare myself to others. I don't judge this against others. I don't judge that against others. It's all about what I can do. That's called the inside job. Bethany, I'm telling you, as your broker, as your president, as your friend, you are miles ahead of most people I've ever met in my life. You've already got the realization.
Yeah.
You're going to have an amazing
inside
life.
job. This series is called The Insider.
Yeah, it's Insider
You
series. That's
know,
just kind of coincidental,
We're
but
looking in the inside of all of the agents that we have. It's
yeah,
a pretty awesome
and
experience.
we have some amazing people working in RelatedISG, and it's my hope and belief that it's all going to synergize it more and more and more. I'm really looking forward to 2021.
I am too.
Yeah, it's only a couple months away. Too.
I know, it's crazy.
What are you getting me for Christmas?
I
Oh, you can tell me later. It's okay.
No, what are you getting me?
Ah,
Okay.
there you go.
Like,
There you go. Folks,
Thank you
this
so
is Bethany
much.
Martinez. This is a very unusual and wonderful, wonderful young lady. Thank you all for joining us today. I'll see you next week. Wherever Carolina Gertz is taking us, see you next week on the next
Bye.
edition of the Insider Series. Thanks so much. Bye-bye now.